Let's talk about Marvel's Avengers. What a piece of shit that game is, huh?
It's a stinker, bro. The worst fucking superhero game of the last decade. Like,
You
no
think so?
joke. I would play
Bro,
the Lego games over this game
bro,
over and
come on
over
now.
again. I'm
No, no, no,
serious.
no, 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 no.
I
Okay.
can't play the story. The story's writing is like it's like they took the first draft of the fucking game and just like, here you go, yeah, let's do it. Just hey, record it, guys. Throw in some improv here and there, and
What
then boom.
about the Batman Begins game? That game was, but that
That
has like a
wasn't
cult
a decade.
following.
That wasn't a decade ago.
Yes, it was.
No, it
Was
wasn't.
that
That was
game
in
really
2000.
not?
That was in 2005 or 2008 or
Dude,
something
I
like that.
just realized Arkham Asylum wasn't in this decade. Come to think of it,
Yeah,
Arkham
exactly.
Asylum
Arkham
was in
City
this
was made in
decade.
2009. Yeah, exactly.
You're
And the
exactly right.
last,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
Arkham City was made a decade ago. So from that time period, Avengers, in my opinion, is probably the worst superhero game. It's even worse. I would play the Amazing Spider-Man games over this fucking game. I
What?
legitimately would rebuy the Amazing Spider-Man games, delete Avengers, and play those.
Dude, you want to know the one time I got scammed the most of my life? I bought that game for $60 because they had no used copies
Oh,
of it. And
the
at GameStop, they
oh,
were charging $60 because they hadn't discounted it because it's Activision. I was like, well, I'm going to do videos on it or
yeah,
whatever. So I
yeah.
was like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to replay this game, do a whole video series on it. And then I replayed it and I was like, this game is unplayable. I can't even
It's
make a
garbage.
review of it. Yeah.
I did play it, but it was $60 for like the longest time. I think it
Really?
might still be $60, like on the PlayStation network or whatever. Like if you
Right.
go into the game store, it's literally still $60. It's like why the game is not worth that much, and neither is Avengers. Avengers is a fucking garbage tier of a video game. The story is bad. The acting's okay, and like the gameplay is just fucking stale. It's like there's nothing that you know progresses the superhero video game genre.
So the
Just
big
nothing.
news, the big news coming out this week is that it appears as though the player base for this game has dropped beneath 1,000,
Hmm.
which is insane for a game that just came out that is an online multiplayer, has online components to it. For it to be under 1,000 players, that tells you a lot. That tells you everything you need to know about the performance of the game.
Arkham Knight literally has like the similar player base right now, and that game came out 5 fucking years ago, 6 years
Yeah,
ago.
6 years ago, approaching six.
Oh my god,
So,
yeah.
so what do you think went wrong with the game? Like from a foundational perspective, like what really went wrong?
The marketing, definitely the marketing, the way they marketed the game, and how, even just the entire like I want to say development of the game because like the
Yeah.
concept of this game is great. You know, you have the Avengers that got set up, and now nobody trusts them for 5 years, and then Kamala Khan comes along and she helps them like rejoin and whatever. That's fine, but like it's just done in a really bad way. The gameplay's just it's really stale. Again, like you predicted that where it's just like everybody has the same button layouts and everybody has the same throw mechanics and the same shoot mechanics. It's like holy shit, this game's boring. It's like holy fuck, it is. It really is. It's just for me, it's almost unplayable. I just don't want to play it.
Yeah, and to the audience, to the audience, what Marcelo is referring to is the idea that I said, I think in the anonymous thread on like probably a month ago, is that
It was in
every
our beta. It was our
character.
beta live stream.
That's right. Every character has the exact same controls. It's just the animations that are different. In other words, like you can throw stuff with L2 and R2, and for Thor, you throw your hammer. For Hulk, you pick up a piece of fucking rock out of the ground and chuck it at people. But every character plays pretty similar, with the exception of Iron Man. You can fly around and
Yeah,
shit.
you
Now, once we get
Captain
Spider Man,
America too.
right now, once we get Spider-Man, that might be different. Now, have you finished the full story? Because I have not. Do you
I'm
know how
not.
the game ends?
No, I don't know how the game ends. Actually, I think I know how the game ends, but I think I know what the final cutscene is because I saw like a glitch version of it where Captain America's just like in a T pose behind like the entire team while Captain America's like giving like a speech. Like I saw like the part of the ending, but like I didn't. I haven't. I don't know how it ends. I'm at this part where they're fucking. I have to go do all these certain side missions after like for like I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing in a story, dude. I don't like for different superhero games. I can be like, oh, I'm going here for fucking Spider-Man. I'm going to Martin Lee's fucking party, or fucking Batman. I'm going to Mister Freeze or whatever. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm going to.
Right.
Fighting aimbots. That's all I'm doing right now in the
Yeah.
story. So I don't like. I'm trying to grind so I could go to the next site to the next mission. So I mean, I think it's a really bad game. Like
Well, and the multiplayer is not fun at all. Like, there's no
yeah,
incentive to even play it.
none. It's just grindy. grindy bullshit. Like what am I? What's my end goal? What am I getting?
Yeah. I guess you can get like skins and shit, but
But the
I don't know.
skins aren't even really that. I'll be honest. I spent $80 on this game because I spent $20 afterwards, and it was the biggest fucking regret of my life. I wanted a Captain America skin.
You spent
No, no,
$20 on a Captain America skin?
I wanted an Iron Man skin, and yes, I had to spend like $20, and I only could get like one skin. I was like, wow.
Jesus, how expensive
I,
are those things?
they're like $14. They're 1,400
Whoa.
points. So when they're 1,400 points, it's like $20 is like 2,000 points. Boom. So you
So now you have
14.
600. So now you have 600 points you can
And
still use.
I could do like an emo. I could do like something. I don't know. It's like a fucking vibe with that bullshit. I
So
haven't
the
touched it.
entire game. So the entire game is $60, and a skin is 1/4 of that. Think
Yep.
about that. It makes no sense.
And there's like fucking 30 skins for each character.
Well, it's going to be hilarious because their whole model of what they're trying to do is basically, okay, so the game will sell a lot, but we'll break even on the game sales and then we'll make money with the skins. But now nobody's playing the game and there's nobody to buy skins because fewer than 1,000 people on Steam. Keep in mind that Steam is like a huge platform that so many people use. There are games that came out over a decade ago that right now have thousands and thousands of people on them. You know, you can go, I mean, any game, old Call of Duties that are years old on PC, they have player bases, right?
Right.
But when you are talking about a game that just came out that is a massive multiplayer online game, RPG style game, and it has fewer than 1,000 people on it, that is a huge red flag that shows that your game is a flop.
Yeah. It's kind of embarrassing that they're trying to like present this as like, yeah, when we start putting out more missions, people will start coming back. It's like, no, I don't think that's what's gonna happen because those missions are literally identical to everything we just played.
Well,
Well,
as
like,
I mentioned for the gameplay, what are they going to change? Oh, instead of fighting aim robots, you're fighting whatever, like
oh,
this, the alien species. Like, who gives a fuck?
it needed. I think it needed a different developer, and I think
Yeah.
you know what, I was gonna say this in my review, but like I think each character they needed to go the MCU route because like it just seems silly not to. Like they could have done a Captain America game and had all of these characters set up, and then Kamala Khan be the main character of the Avengers game, so she brings back all the characters that we loved, so we could play as them one by one. Like from if they did like solo games for each of the Avengers except Kamala Khan, then she's the main character. I think that would have been a better choice, and I honestly don't think that Square Enix and Crystal Dynamic were like the right choice at all. Like to present this game, like it's a mess.
Yeah, I mean, oddly enough, I think Rocksteady would have been perfect for it, or a studio like them. But obviously, we don't want them doing Marvel games. But I don't know. So, yeah, the thing is, I was cautiously optimistic for the game. I played the beta. I thought that the opening cutscene for the game was really quite good.
Yeah,
When they have when they have those cinematic cutscene moments, it's actually a good game. It's fun. It's well
I,
crafted.
I think
And then you
I'm at the point where like Iron Man had to fly into space, and I honestly hated that. I hated it because like there was no control. You were just like it was like a weird like you just had to like follow a dot. You weren't really flying as Iron Man. You know what I mean? Like it would have been cool if I was controlling Iron Man flying into space, right? But that's not what happened. It was a cool set,
yes.
but like I wasn't in control of any of it except my right thumbstick. Because I don't know what the fuck's going on with this Avengers bullshit. I don't know like what new missions are coming or whatever. I don't know what's going on. Like nobody knows what's really going on.
Yeah. And
And I think
you can either be like a Sea of Thieves Rainbow Six thing where they revive it. You know, it comes out, it's dead, it has no players. Like Rainbow Six Siege was one of those games. I remember watching the trailer for it and how much cooperation there was because they basically had a live gameplay demo at the reveal and it was in the airplane mission where you're like rescuing the president, I think, which it looks so fucking cool.
yeah,
And then the game came out. It was a flop. There wasn't very much depth to it. And then they invested a shit ton of resources in reviving the game, and they did
yeah,
into the competitive scene and shit like that. So they need to find their angle of what is it that's going to revive the game. And it is not just going to be more missions. That is more of the same. That is more of reskinning what we already have and don't like. But what's going to save the game is something like, let's say, a Star Wars Battlefront style heroes versus villains mode, you know, where you play as the Jedi against the Sith, and you can
right.
actually like run around. If there's actually a mode where it's 4v4, I team up with my friends and we're like Hulk, Iron Man, Thor, whatever, and we fight
Yeah,
against fucking Loki and other That shit would be fun. You know, we would play that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would
I,
be a lot of fun. But instead, they're just going to keep like, oh, now instead of fighting robots, we're fighting aliens. Ooh, these are scrolls. Isn't this fun? And it's like, no, this still sucks. I don't even want story missions. I want fun online multiplayer. Now, okay, now here's another fun mode. A horde mode. Or not a horde mode. Like they also do this in Star Wars Battlefront where you play what's up?
no, go on, keep going, keep
Oh,
going.
where you're also playing as the hero and you fight against people with just guns. So like imagine if there's 4 people, it's 4 versus 64, and
Oh,
so 64 people spawn in as aim robots and they're trying to kill the Avengers.
dude, that
Not,
would be
not aim not
dope.
aim not aim
Okay.
robots, but like let's say
No,
whatever, some
Aim
sort of
Robot is
character.
perfect. Like they could like spawn like different variations. Like there's a bunch when you start playing them. But like yeah, you could have like different variations where one was like the giant spider and they have to like start shooting them. If they could develop something like that into the game, that would be
Yeah, or it could be like Thanos's minions or something. You know, it can be anything. So there's like 64 of you. You all spawn in with like a little blaster gun, and like that's all you have.
right.
And then you have to fight against 4 humans playing as the Hulk and shit. Like, wouldn't
Yeah,
that be fun?
dude, that would be fucking amazing. That would literally just
Or again, I really like the idea of them making villains. So you know, we can play as Loki, we can play as other villains, even Thanos potentially, and then it's like heroes versus villains mode because it's just fighting the robots is so fucking boring. I can't think of anything I hate more.
dude. It's
Um,
we got. I finally got to that one point where we're fighting. You remember that one giant spider that we fought in the multiplayer with Evan?
yeah, that was awful.
Yeah. Holy shit! I got to that mission solo in the story, and I wanted to kill myself. It
It's so
legitimately
bad.
was. It was. I had to replay that, and I was just having PTSD back to when I was just like, having that rant for about 10 minutes on your
Yeah.
stream. How fucking awful that fucking robot was, because it was. It took even longer because I didn't have you guys to like help me coordinate. The fucking AI was following me around the fucking robot
Mm,
when I was Iron Man trying to kill this thing. I'm just
hmm.
like, what? They're not even trying to hurt the thing. It's like it's a fucking wreck.
And you have to like hit one section of it. It's like, oh, kill the legs now, and then kill the top part of it, and then you
You have to go back and forth,
segment it out. It's just the most boring fucking boss fight you could ever imagine.
and it goes
Um,
up and then comes down, and then it just like tries to shoot you when you fly across its face. It's like, dude,
so
I
that's the other thing with the game. The game doesn't
type
have any added layers of complexity
right, yeah.
because
It's
basically it's like, oh,
it's a surface level fucking game. That's what it is.
yeah.
That's
So
really
it's
true.
like, okay, you're fighting robots. Now you're fighting a robot with a lot of health. Now you're fighting a robot with a shield. Now
Yeah,
you're fighting a huge robot. Now you're fighting a mega gigantic robot. It's like, what the
yeah.
fuck is the point of this game? Because there are 3 boss fights in the whole game, from my understanding. There's a boss fight at the end with the main villain. There's a boss fight at the beginning with Abomination, and then there's some robot boss fight or some bullshit like that. So there are no cool boss fights. There are no cool enemies that you fight against. Even the Abomination boss fight's repetitive.
Hmm.
Um,
There's like
and
two abomination boss fights. I think
right.
I'm not wrong.
So to me, it's a question of like, what can you do to revive this game? And the answer really lies in making it more of a player versus player experience. Because the player versus AI stuff, it just gets boring too quickly. We've tried it with Destiny. This game is not Destiny. It's not going to work like that because Destiny also had a multiplayer mode where you farm and get you fight against AI so that
Mhm.
you can play in multiplayer and have the gear that you want. There is a reason, as you mentioned. What is the reason I'm doing all of this? Well, in a multiplayer game, you ultimately, like Destiny 1 or Destiny 2, you are farming and you're doing those looting missions for a reason.
Yeah, like a
In
weapon.
right. In this game, there's no benefit. It's just like, oh, you get skins,
You get skins, you get upgrades to your character, but like the upgrades don't like what would have worked is if those upgrades would have been like cosmetic, kind of like Injustice. Like I was playing the other maybe week, I don't fucking remember last time I was playing.
Mhm.
I was going through like the upgrades, where you like go and you're trying to like, find the best upgrade, and it's just like I'm just looking for the biggest number. I'm not looking for anything cool. Like if all of those had a cosmetic change to my character, I would have picked like level 3 over level 14 because of the way it looked. And even still, it would have been fun, right? I mean, I would have had my time. I would have been able to boost that cosmetic item. I just don't know why that was not a thing.
Yeah.
It's yeah, then that would have incentivized. It would have made me go out and fucking play the multiplayer, even though I don't want to fucking play the multi. It's the most boring fucking shit ever. It's the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
It's a grindy games as a service. And I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's grindy. It's like, and as I mentioned, the only difference is the size of the robots and how many robots there are, as the
And
game
here,
level and the health of the robots. That's
yeah,
all.
and the health robots, yeah, and like with a game like Destiny, I mean, the gameplay is actually fun. Like I would say, a shooter is more fun than this. You
Right.
know, like I don't like playing as the Hulk or Miss Marvel. I don't like playing as fucking Black Widow like most of the time. Who else? I mean, I don't really care about any of the characters besides like
Is
Captain
Cap
America.
Cap is fun to play as.
Thor's alright to play out sometimes.
I agree.
But like I legitimately just there's no reason for me to come back to this game and like play it. Like I don't want to play it.
Hulk's gameplay sucks.
Hulk's gameplay is awful. And
Thor's okay. Iron
here's the
Man
thing,
is okay.
like I said before, I think they would have all benefited from having solo games.
It's a
How do you get?
historic. It is a historic
Yeah,
flaw.
has there ever been like that low of a player base from like I would especially for like Avengers too. Like how do you
Yeah.
bomb that?
Yeah. Um. There really is no excuse for the way in which this game turned out, and I think that it also provides a warning. This is what I delved into a little earlier on Twitter. Is I think what it suggests is that Gotham Knights needs to avoid the direction that this game has gone, because we've seen that this type of game is not popular amongst the fans right now. This type of game where you play with friends against robots and AI, it's just not compelling. It's just not. And I think that we've proposed some ideas of how the game could be more fun and more compelling. And ultimately, I think that involves making fun online modes. Okay, now imagine this. What if there was a Thanos mode? One player is Thanos. There's like 32 Avengers.
Oh my
We
god,
all
they're
can
all
pick our Avenger, and Thanos is just like fucking nuking people, right? But they're like
so
you have like laser vision, you're just like and you're like 10 times the size of everybody. And
yeah,
then it's like 32 people all just have to try to take out Thanos.
that would be
Like
a lot of
just fun. At least I would play that. At least it would be fun and I would laugh at it and be like,
yeah,
"Oh,
exactly.
this is fun."
I think that's the only way they can actually revive this game is if they go into like complete absurdity. Because like if they just say fuck it,
Fun
it's just
multiplayer modes, fun multiplayer stuff.
fun. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how they could do it if they could do it. But
Think about how they revived Call of Duty. If you remember in Modern Warfare
here's
3,
the thing, are they capable? Are these developers really capable of doing this?
probably not.
I don't think they are. I don't think they'll be able to revive this game. And I think that the person on top is giving them unrealistic expectations about what their game is going to be doing. Because realistically, he's in charge of a lot of the marketing, right? He's the one
Yeah.
that sees a lot of this. He knows what the fuck's going on, and he's giving out this false hope to these devs that, oh, yeah, don't worry, in the future when the DLC comes out, we were all going to be fine. It's like, I don't think so. Like, this can really tarnish them in many ways. Like people can look at Square Enix and be like, "What the fuck? Why did you guys do that?" I mean,
Do
I'm
you
I'm looking at them doing that now.
Right. Do you remember the Square Enix CEO said that Marvel's Avengers would be like the best-selling and best superhero video game of all time? He's like, it's gonna sell more than Batman Arkham and Spider-Man PS4. It's gonna, yeah,
Okay,
that, that's exactly what he said. He said it
take
was gonna sell more than every superhero game
take a guess on how many players are just played in the last 35 minutes.
that have played it in the last 35 minutes.
Yeah, on Steam.
5,000?
No,
What is it?
1,700,
1,000.
726 in the last 35 minutes. I've only played this game on Steam.
Basically a brand new Avengers game. Who could have guessed that an Avengers game would like have that little interest?
Like literally, how would I don't understand. Like I feel like this would have been like their top selling, top played. It's the gameplay. I'm telling you.